Hi! Thanks so much for joining me today. I promised you guys a headstand tutorial. So let's talk headstands. There are two different types of headstands. One is tripod, so your elbows are going to be chaturanga arms and your head down. The other one, I don't practice tripod headstand very much at all unless I'm doing a fun, like funky arm balance flow. That does like work really well with those. But I really love a supported headstand. So the reason it's called supported is just your hands are right around your head, because pure headstand, so I guess there's actually three. Straight up headstand is just on your head, no arms. I am not teaching that today. We're gonna start with the two first headstand forms. So one, tripod, chaturanga arms. This is the easiest one to begin with, but I'm gonna talk through where to place your head and how to try to keep your head, or keep most of the weight in your arms rather than your head. My favorite one, supported headstand, not difficult to learn either. I suggest practicing at the very beginning with a wall behind you, and then moving away from the wall, maybe taking it down so that the couch is behind you or your bed, so there's a place for your back to kind of fall against if you need to. Other than that, you can literally always tuck your chin in and do a little somersault. I remember when I first started practicing and learning headstands, I needed the bed or the wall behind me, and I respect that. I think that as you're learning these things, that little bit of fear at first is a good thing, just because you are learning and trusting your body, and your body is learning what muscles it needs to use in order to support yourself in an inverted way, right? So these are super fun to play with and learn, extremely empowering, because all of a sudden once you practice these and once you get the hang of it, you're like, wait, shoot, I can do inversions. It's amazing. So let's have some fun. I'm going to show you tripod first, and then we'll move into supported headstand. So tripod, you're going to start here. Just kind of on your knees. I want you to identify the crown of your head. So it has been taught before, the front of your head. Please do not do that. We want your spine to stay straight. So when you're doing this, you're putting much unneeded pressure on your neck, and that is not a good idea. The less pressure you can put on your spine, the better. So we're gonna kind of move back here. Here's the center. So the center of your head is kind of soft. We don't want to rest on the center. That's a lot of pressure as well. We want to kind of tuck the chin just so our spine is nice and straight, and find the crown of the head. So for me, it feels very far back, but as you notice, my spine stays straight up to this point. It's almost like an extension of my spine, right? So you want to find the spot where your neck goes all the way up, and then here's the top of your head. That's where you're going to balance on. Keep it in a nice straight line. Okay, we're going to start chaturanga arms. So we've got our hands down, wrists right below the shoulders, and you can also start by kicking your feet up, bending your knees, whatever works for you. I'm going to start right here on my knees, and I'm going to bend my elbows in right at my ribs, drop my head down, going back as far as I can towards the back of my head. Okay, you're going to lose sight of it because my hood is probably going to come down. And then we're going to slowly bring our knees up onto the shelf of our upper arms, and that'll be your first form of headstand, right? So let's do this. We're going to lift it up and take our knees, lots and lots of pressure in the hands. Take the knees to the elbows. And then you're just going to crunch it up and in. And then eventually you will lift up super slow. So that's a great place to start, just with that little tuck in. And then you could eventually lift your legs all the way up. Let's see. The pressure in your hands needs to be significant. Like you are just driving your hands into the mat. So start here. I'll do it one more time. See if I can get my legs all the way up this time without talking. And find the place for your head. that is your headstand. So I wanted to show you the whole thing just so you see that your core is involved like so much. So on that tuck in, you're gonna be using your core to stabilize. Basically, you're trying to stay as straight as possible, like how you're standing, but upside down. So that nice pressure in the back of your head should not be the center, should be a little bit further behind. Lots of pressure in your hands, okay? Comment on this video with your questions. I am here for you. And then beyond that, if there's any discomfort at all in your neck or anything, I suggest not necessarily practicing tripod headstand, or at least taking a break and seeing an instructor in person, maybe after this craziness is over, and working with them directly. It's really not worth having any spinal issues. It's just not. So that's why I don't really practice this one very much. It's not my favorite. It's not super comfortable, but you do need a lot of pressure in your hands. It does alleviate some of the pressure on your head, okay? All right. The next one I want to talk about is supported headstand. So this one is wonderful. You can kind of find a home in this one. It's super nice to chill out in. A little bit of pressure on your head, hardly any at all though once you get the form, and it'll begin to just feel good. And you're like, okay, cool. I need an inversion today and I want something comfortable. I'm just gonna go into my supported headstand. So we'll get started here. I want you to work up to about 90 to 95% of the weight in your forearms. That's one reason it can be a super fun and easy once you're getting that to go from supported headstand to pincha or forearm stand. Okay, so here we're gonna start with a little clasp behind our head. So your fist, for me, it's gonna almost be at my bun. It's gonna be a little bit above right here. I'm gonna hug my elbows in so they're right below my shoulders on the mat. And again, we're going for the very back or the crown of the head where it's right above your spine, so it's in line with your spine. And you'll start right here, pull one knee in, and then the other. Whew. Seems to be second time's the charm today. So let's talk form. Your hands are right here. I like to keep mine open or even down. Just depends on your preference. There's lots of different forms of headstand you can get into. My favorite way to start is tucking the knees in, hanging out there, and then maybe slowly coming into a diamond. I can show you that if you would like, and then straightening all the way up. So I'll show you the setup again, just so you can kind of get a feel for it. But you can also clasp or make a little fist here and kind of rest your head in it. So you're cradling the back of your head, but everything's in your forearms. Okay, so once you kind of get your core involved, the flowing can be fun, right? The main thing is to keep your core super tight. Your tailbone's almost gonna feel like it's tucked under a little bit. That's gonna help you use your low abdomen to direct your legs. Another thing I highly suggest is resting in child's pose at the end for almost 2 minutes, maybe if that works for you, as long as you want. When I first began headstands, it's just a different equilibrium, right, that you have going on. You're upside down, your body's not necessarily used to it, so you want to just rest in child's pose like this. and breathe right into your upper spine, okay? There should not be pressure on your back too much. You should have all of that weight in your forearms, okay? So if you have questions, leave a comment on the video. Another thing I wanted to bring up regarding resting in child's pose is that your brain will develop a thicker amount of fluid around it as you invert more often, right? So I'm popping up and down. It's not bothering me because I've been doing inversions or flipping upside down like that for a few years now. So my brain, my equilibrium has adapted to that. So, but when I first started, I had to rest in child's pose, for a while. And I would say that is smart to do. You wanna listen to your body so it's not shocking your system. That can definitely not be a good thing for you. So these are just tips and a heads up. Again, I'm here for you. Leave questions. If you wanted to do a pose like breakdown or workshop with me on these, I am available as like a private yoga coach online. I'm doing Zoom calls right now, so you can set up a free consult with me literally on my website. So I am here for you in that aspect as well. I don't want anyone to hurt themselves. Just have fun, be safe, and use that wall or something behind you. Keep all the pressure in your hands, and you'll be good. Have some fun. Okay, I'll see you next